welcome back to the art room, everybody. I'm going to show you today how to do a little bit of meditative drawing called a Zentangle. A Zentangle is a really small, really quick little drawing where you sort of draw intuitively, you draw without sort of any plan or meaning in mind, and the act of making a Zentangle is actually quite meditative. So I'm going to show you the process to make kind of a traditional little Zentangle, and then from there you can take it wherever you want to take it. I created a document that has some information about Zentangles. It comes from sort of an artist that created this idea years and years ago and made a kit. And in their kit, the original kit, this is the quote that came with it. A Zentangle has no up or down. It is not a picture of something. So you have no worries about whether you can draw a hand or a duck. You always succeed in creating a Zentangle. It's mindful drawing of individual strokes and makes possible the shift in focus that is meditation. So it's really nice to be able to just kind of put everything out of your mind and just meditate. And a lot of us don't really know how to quiet our minds and meditate, so this will help you to get what it feels like to actually quiet your mind and meditate, focus on something else other than what's on your mind. So for materials, paper, any white paper will do. We want about 10 centimeter square of paper. So, you know, around 10 centimeters, doesn't have to be that big. Doesn't have to be fancy paper, it can be regular old paper, or you could draw a 10 centimeter square in the middle of another paper, but it's sort of nice to have these little guys. They look really nice when you do a bunch of them and kind of stack them together. You're going to need a pen, a pencil, regular old pencil, eraser optional, and a fine-tipped pen of some sort. And if you can't find a fine-tipped black pen, then whatever you have on hand will work. Okay? I like to have, the kit came with a dice so that you can sort of roll the dice and you don't actually have to make any decisions on your own. You can roll the dice and whatever Zentangle comes up, you can pick that pattern and that's what will go in that space. If you don't have one of those fancy dice, I took a white eraser, cut it up in little bits, and now I can add up those numbers to pick one of these. Okay, so I'll show you how to do one. With the package also comes some extra doodle patterns and some next level, really kind of what you can do with this Zentangle moving forward to make it a little bit more artistic, more creative for those of you who need a little bit more enrichment. So we're going to start with our little square of paper, okay, and take your pencil, take a deep breath, relax, commit yourself to drawing for about 10 minutes and try to, you know, just focus on what you're doing. 4 little dots with your pencil, nice light dots, corner to corner, about 5 millimeters from the corner, and then really lightly connect those lines with your pencil. Do not use a ruler. This is not about straight lines. This is not about measuring. This is just about kind of going with the flow. Now I want you to do, this is what they call a string. So you'll start in one of the corners and you'll take a line for a walk between all of the, so that's called a tangle. So here's another, or that's called a string. So there's another string. And what you've done by making this string is you've kind of sectioned off some little sections here where then you can place some of these patterns. So the next step, you put your pencil away, you pick up your pen, and you can roll your dice. And if you want to roll the dice, now that number 4 came up right there. And so I will do number 4 right here. And so I'll just start by sort of copying what I see there, not really worrying too much about making it exactly the same, but I'm going to do a pattern similar to what I see there. And I'm going to fill that space with that pattern that I see. And fill it right to the edges with that first pattern. Then what you're going to do is you can go ahead and pick the next one if you want, or you can go to the bigger patterns and pick some more complicated patterns, and you keep filling in those spaces until they are all full. There you go. There's your Zentangle. The last thing that they suggest that you do is take your pencil, and in some of these areas, if you want to add a little bit of dimension with the side of your pencil, you can do a little bit of shading on the edges of the different shapes that you've created to give sort of a three-dimensional effect to each one of these areas. And then the last thing you do is put your initials there and definitely write the date on the back.